Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to the Ka-Pow Comics Special 2025 Countdown in number 5 now with The Plague House. This is a horror story, and there's a whole bunch of reasons why it deserves to be in not only the best of it in the top 5, most of which is going to come down to the artwork. Dave Chisholm is an artist I've not really encountered before this, but ever since my first brush with this book, I've been looking for more of his stuff, and I've bought quite a few bits and pieces, and he is consistently amazing. From the off, he absolutely wowed me with just a view of a big-ass creepy house shot from a certain POV angle with our main cast of characters in front of it. And it was the lighting and the shadow and the colours and every single thing about it just absolutely had me. I mean, I was moments later flicking back to that page to just take it in. There's so much amazing level of detail, all handcrafted, and when I say that, I mean it because I raised a question when I did my first review of that book, which was whether or not this was actually all done by hand or whether or not he was just very, very good at using digital brushes. Turns out it was all done by hand. He reached out and actually made sure I knew what was going on there, and I thank him for that. And it just made everything else even better as well. The blood splashes when they drop, the amazing use of shadow, light, and colour throughout every single bit of it. But cannot deny, when it comes to horror comic books, an awful lot of what you get for it is usually mood and setting. And don't get me wrong, his artistry is absolutely amazing when it comes to doing such things, but he managed to do some stuff even better that I wasn't sure I'd ever be able to see done well in a comic book, a horror comic book specifically. This is to do with how I engage with horror movies, one of my favourite genres of movie. And I find myself quite often looking in the shadows, through windows, reflections, looking for little things that the directors of photography and the actual director kind of just put in there. So as a camera's moving across, you can be convinced you might have seen something or you haven't seen something. And there's wonderful surprise moments throughout. And it's very hard to do that in a comic book because it's just a still image. There's no motion of a camera, so you literally just see what's on the page. But there was a couple of occasions where he managed to draw the eye using motion and framing and layout so that I actually did have to go back and double check. And yes, I did just then see it, which is different than a movie where the only way to do it would actually be to rewind, which kind of takes you out of it a little bit. But I was still thoroughly impressed how he managed to put subtle little things into the comic book in such a way that you kind of, your brain convinced you didn't see it until you go back and check. Throw into that the other thing which is practically impossible to do in a horror comic book is a jump scare. And there's a couple of moments, again, with layouts and timing and pacing and where he puts the page breaks that you just can't help but have those moments. I was like, oh my god, there is something there. It's on another level. I seriously have nothing bad to say about it all, and I don't think I'm going to have the time to really tell you exactly how amazing it is. Now, all that is just how it looks. And don't get me wrong, comic books are a visual medium, but I am pretty much always a story and character guy first. In this particular case, we do have some wonderful characters from Conrad. I might have got the name wrong, do apologise. Where we do get introduced to them and get little bits of like getting the almost flashbacks to getting the gang together kind of moments. Not usually my favourite way of doing it, but since this is a bunch of paranormal investigators and it does feel almost like episodic or even a short movie kind of thing, I agree that there probably wasn't the time necessary to spend a long time on these characters, but with a little bit of time we had at the beginning and then building up throughout was very, very effectively. The story, I've got to be honest, I'll phrase this as correctly as I can here to make it clear that I'm not doing a backhanded compliment or anything. It wasn't the most amazing, groundbreaking, genre-defining thing I've seen, but in my mind at the moment, I'm all in favour of that kind of thing. As I've already mentioned, I watch a lot of horror, and of all the horror movies I've seen this year, probably one of the ones that's really stood out for me was House of the Reaper. It's on Shudder, and it's an 80s set slasher movie. It is not trying to be self-aware, it is not trying to be referential, it is not Scream, it's not Cabin in the Woods, it's not Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It is just a really, really good slasher film. It's not trying to do anything else. What it's trying to do is be the best version of itself that it can be, and it does it with style. This is a haunted house story, and it does it so wonderfully over multiple issues. Really nice arc of story, but as much as I do love the twists and turns, the morality play we get in the end of it, this decision of making choices that we know to be good in the long run but will have negative effects, and how willing we would be to self-sacrifice and be thought of as a bad guy for doing these kind of things, those are all fascinating. But at its core, it's a scary story about haunted houses, and it just absolutely nails it. It does an exceptionally good job at what it set out to do, and I literally have nothing to complain about with that one. It is phenomenal, and if you like horror, you should absolutely go and check it out. That's it for me for now, though. Till I see you all again, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.